getting out here for another day. We're gonna try to take a look at the weed whacker and the lawnmower first. That way we can get this grass cut, see what we can do. Sarge living his best life out here. The weed whacker actually works. We use these plastic blades. Last a lot longer than string, but we don't have any more. Don't really feel like spending another 12 bucks for 3 of them. So we're gonna see if we can make something similar to this. Put in the weed whacker head, start using it. My dad made it back. He left earlier this morning. Go pick a few items up. He just got back, so let's go see what he got. So we got a couple items unloaded. Push mower, riding mower for parts. My dad got 2 washers. They don't work. None of the stuff works, but we're gonna see what we can do with it. So let's get it unloaded and let's get to work. We got one more to go. Got the van all unloaded. I was hoping to get into my shop today, get some items fixed if I could, but it never works out as planned. My dad wants to finish putting up the sheets of metal on the fence, so we're gonna hop right into that, get everything ready. We're getting everything set up. Gonna have to grab the angle grinder. Gonna have to grab this drill. That should be pretty much all we need to get these pieces of metal cut. The holes drilled out into them and get them fastened onto the fence. Let's get to it. It's gonna be a real hot day out here today, so we're all covered up, but we got no other option but to keep going. All right, so we're gonna leave this. So we're gonna be getting some nice safety glasses. One for me, one for Erwin.
Should be 8 foot.
Getting the first sheet measured out. These things are 13 feet long. We either need them 8 foot or 16 foot to go post to post, so it's all right. They're used anyways. We're gonna cut them to size. I'm not sure how many we'll need, but we might have enough metal to get it all done. We're moseying on down. This is all 6 of the pieces that I pre-cut. They're all perfectly fitting in, getting them screwed in place. We still got another half of this fence to go, and then we'll be done. Keep going, keep pushing, and we'll get it done.
One piece at a time.
We've reached a stopping point for today. My dad's putting the last couple of screws at the very end. Erwin had to head off to work. This is as far as we're gonna go with it. We're gonna leave that little corner open for now until we get rid of these pallets and build a real fence over there. So it's a process, but we have come a long way. Pretty much the entire fence line is now covered up again. Move on to something else. Got to put all the tools up as well. Put all this sheet metal up. I went ahead and put all the power tools away, all the other miscellaneous tools, getting ready to pick up this wood. Doesn't need to sit in the sun and rain for no reason. And stack this metal that we're not using anymore nice and neatly in our piles over here. One thing at a time, everything will get done. Nice sunny day out here today. Since Erwin headed off to work and me and my dad got that fence job complete, I hopped right back into my shop, kind of working on 3 washers at once. I got this one hooked up and running. Both of these actually came in today from the load my dad picked up. They both didn't have a power cord, so I found a power cord for each one. This one seems to be spinning and everything like it should. So we're gonna get it brought over here, hooked up to some water, make sure it's not leaking, make sure the pump's working. This one, I hooked it up. I'm pretty sure a piece of plastic underneath this agitator. I think it's stripped out. Got to get this bolt off. So I had to squirt some liquid wrench in there. It's on there really tight or rusted on, one of the two. Gonna let that sit for a minute while these two are doing their thing. Also, I know this one has bad suspension rods, so I'm gonna get the head unit and the top taken off so I can access those rods, get them swapped out, get this thing tested. This girl's keeping a close eye on me. Got this one with the bad shocks fixed up, brought in here, running its final spin cycle. Got some clothes in it. Got this one out here that I was working on. Replaced the child lock. It's somewhat working, but it's still not 100%. I'll have to take a look underneath. Taking a quick pause. Checking in on the sheep, making sure they haven't wandered off too far. Working on some of these mowers we got last week. We got this one turned on. Letting the motor run a little bit. See what we can do. Finally got this agitator taken out. Wiggling and wiggling, finally popped out of there. Now we got to get this piece out, take a look at it. Most likely it's stripped out. So just as I suspected, this plastic piece that holds onto the drum while it spins is all stripped out, which is why the machine doesn't want to spin. We have to get this plastic replaced. First, I'm going to clean off the ridges on the transmission shaft. That way this piece can connect properly and last as long as it can. Let's get to it. Got the new plastic hub for the drum installed. Now we got to reinstall the agitator, the bolt, and get this thing tested. Came to get a quick water refill. Got Sarge here hanging out on a stump. Actually saw this guy with a bird in his mouth earlier, so it's like he killed one. He is something else. Let's get back down to the shop, see what we can get done before sunset. Got all the plastic put back on this thing, I think a day or two ago. Just periodically turning it on, making sure it's working good. It's kind of fun to ride around a little bit, I'm not even gonna lie. Even though it's just a little four-wheeler, fun to pop wheelies on. So I got all three of those machines that I was working on up and running. This one still needs to be cleaned up right after I test it one more time. Actually ended up replacing the gear shifter for the transmission and the capacitor for this one. I already got it tested on one cycle, but now we're getting ready to test it again before we clean it up. Also, this one here, replaced the shocks in it. Got one cycle tested. Also got to find a cap here for the agitator. But shouldn't be too big of a deal. We got to clean it up as well. But number one is that it works after those shocks got replaced. And then this one over here, just finished it up. Got that agitator put back in. This one had the stripped out hub on the drum. So we got that replaced. Should spin, getting ready to test it. I already tested it on a spin cycle. It worked, but now we're going to run it through a whole cycle, make sure everything's working good. Get all three of them cleaned up. About 8 o'clock out here now. My dad already left. He got tired. This motor he got cranked on and running like you saw, but it has a transmission issue. So I'm not too sure what we're gonna do with it, but at least the motor works. And we know that. Always something, it's not easy, but you gotta keep going. Got this machine running its last test cycle. Same with the other two in there. Actually brought out a lot of the machines that I've been holding on to, seeing what I can do with them. These two I'm going to try to fix. These two I'm going to strip the parts off of. It's getting pretty late out here. It's about 9:30. Once I strip the parts off of this thing, probably going to call it a day in here. It's starting to rain. I got all the tools put up. This thing can stay out here. It's no good anyways. Get this job done and head up to the house and get working on some dinner. Just finished up stripping this machine of all the good parts. Just got the motor and the magnet wheel taken off. Got the two pumps taken off. That's about it. That's about all I need. Another day comes to an end. We're going to close up shop for tonight. We'll be back out here tomorrow.